So we're heading to this Vasa museum at the moment and scooting along the waterfront of Stockholm, Sweden. How pretty is it? Look at these buildings behind these trees, and it's so cold here that my hands are freezing and the trees have lost all their leaves and Gita's about to get lapped, but these scooters are held for him. Did you get lapped?
I was waiting for you.
Oh yeah. So we're heading over there, I reckon. That's the Vasa Museum.
We have the craziest plan.
Yes. So Gita's saying we have a pretty crazy plan for after, but anyway. Vasa Museum, TLDR on the Vasa is it's a pristine Viking ship from an age before that's been preserved in the mud, essentially. So the Vasa was like the king's biggest, grandest ship, and on its maiden voyage, so its first time sailing, it went out in the river a bit, sailed a bit, and then it was too top heavy and capsized, and then sank into the mud, and then was preserved for eternity, and now it's in a museum for us to gawk at. Check it out. So this thing was too top heavy, so you see all these guns and stuff, so basically it plonked in the water, and then all these cannons up here basically made it roll over in the mud, and everyone freaking drowned, and that was the end of the maiden voyage, over in quick succession.
He's alive.
Imagine having this bad boy sailing towards you, hey. So the cool thing about this one is, because it, on its maiden voyage, rolled in the mud, it was left there for 333 years, so was untouched. So cool thing about it is you see these little statue guys, they're all held pristine. So not only did it capsize on the maiden voyage, it also preserved in the mud. So all these little statues are original and everything like that. And this ship is 98% original. Basically very well kept. Check it out. It pretty much, like, I'm feeling like this looks like some sort of mythological thing out of like Pirates of the Caribbean, where it's like the Flying Dutchman. What do you reckon, Miss Gita?
It's so massive, it's so cool. We just watched a movie to kind of understand what happened back then and how it was built.
Yeah.
And it's just really impressive. I really still can't imagine it. Such a shame it sank. Pretty cool we can look at it, because boats like that are not built nowadays anymore.
I thought it was interesting that in the end of the film the guy was like, oh yeah, to think if this boat sailed well on its maiden voyage, we wouldn't have it today. It's kind of like, huh, interesting. It's an interesting perspective. Let's go check it out over here. So you imagine what it was like if it was sinking, Gita, and like you're trying to scramble to shut the hatch.
Yeah.
Or like you're down there pinned under a cannon as it's sinking in that frozen water you're swimming in a week ago.
Crazy.
Frozen.
It was probably summer. It didn't look like winter.
It's still probably cold.
Yeah, but not freezing. So what?
It's freaking massive, hey. Oh my goodness. What?
What were the issues with it again? Like it was too
narrow
and too tall?
No, it was too tall for how narrow it was, and then it was not heavy enough down the bottom. And then so it tipped a bit to one side, and then these gun ports started taking in water and stuff. And then it was downhill spiral from there.
Very unfortunate.
33 people died out of 450. Wait, Gita, you've been looking for some new shoes.
Oh, nice. How much are they?
More than you can afford, unfortunately.
Aww.
Let me see. Yep, too poor. Sorry.
So the cannons were like...
Let's fire it, Gita.
So you have like one of those
What?
balls in front,
Cannonball, yes.
and then you have gunpowder and you light it and it shoots it out.
That's how it works. It's so big, hey, it's 4 stories high. It's pretty impressive.
It's impressive that they got it out of the water.
Do you think the ropes are original?
Yeah, for sure.
Or is that part of the 2%? So it's pretty cool that even some of the sails and things like that, the ropes of the sail, are even preserved. To me it doesn't look like much, but look at this rope. You can see that even the style of like weaving it in is that well preserved. So I think that's a really cool thing about the Vasa Museum. That's for sure. This is a whole sail that's preserved. So this one was tucked fold away in one of the cabins. So that's why this one's so exceptionally well preserved. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Swedish Warship. 17th century.
We were just reading the, what do you call them? Vanten. What's the English word?
Lanyards. So
Yes.
some of these ones are original. These
All
ones
the
are
dark
not.
ones are original, and the lighter ones obviously not.
So it's very well
But it's
preserved.
crazy, like it's so well preserved that they technically still work. Like
Yeah.
they still hold all of this up. Go to the bottom.
Gita, how did we end up in here?
I don't know. Happened.
Just accidentally ended up in the gift shop, hey?
Happened. Just happened.
Just happens.
Let's get out of here.
That toilet was weird. I'm still
Why?
recovering from that. I don't know.
So cool.
It's weird to go to the toilet with males
Except
and
not-
females in the same thing. Is that like an equality thing?
Maybe.
That's weird.
Is that 900 euro? Or?
Yes, it is. You delete a 0. I'm definitely noticing there's so much history in Sweden, Stockholm. The Vasa Museum is a great example of that. I enjoyed that, hey.
That was so cool.
I'm gonna be on a Viking warship all night, even though it's not Viking. 17th century. So 450 people can fit on that bad boy. It was massive as well, and only 33 died when it sank. Because it was 100 meters away from the shore. I guess most of them swam. But one thing you can't appreciate is if
Didn't really go for it.
the cost of like swimming in this ocean is freezing, and I reckon some of those people went into cold shock sort of thing, because I feel like I had that the other day. In the Finnish water was freezing. Have a go at it. It's so beautiful. Blue skies. Now, Miss Gita, can you tell me one thing?
What?
I think we're gonna go have a bit of a recipe for disaster now. Hey,
God.
Swedish recipe for
So happy I'm
disaster.
not included in that.
You're not included? I'm included. Oh, what is it? You have to find out. This way. Catch you later.
Cosa minuto sa?